There you go. Have a good meeting.
Thank you. It is 6:00 p.m. on May 21st. And calling this meeting will be called to order. Do we have an acceptance of the agenda? Moved by Ms. Canfield. Seconded by Ms. Conley. All in favor? Aye. It is unanimous. Take a second here to read our DEI statement. The Scituate Select Board is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community and all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. We ask our our committee members and all who participate to commit to these standards, to support and respect our community. And you're now, but actually before we do a reorganization of the board, I want to welcome our newest member, Mr. Gilmore. How are you? For those of you who don't know, Jamie has been on advisory committee for over a decade. He's been capital committee. He's been on a plethora of different boards. He's been chair of advisory. So certainly will overlook his inexperience. I agree. But a valued asset for the board. And now, do our policies, our most senior member, Ms. Canfield, will you direct us in our reorganization board?
Senior in years of service.
Service. Yes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, Acting Chair. Yeah, it is my privilege to open up the conversation as we normally do at the after the town election, when we reconvene, which is this meeting versus town election. We open the floor for nominations for our chair, vice chair, and clerk. And so with that, I would be willing to accept nominations for, we'll start with chair. Other nominations? Ms. Conley.
I would like to nominate Andrew Goodrich as chair. He served honorably as vice chair and we look forward to his leadership.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of Mr. Goodrich assuming the chair? Aye. Aye. All opposed? Passed unanimously. As you are now the chair, should you take over the rest of the nomination, or do I continue?
You continue.
All
You're on a roll.
right.
You're on a roll.
All right. The next position that we will be filling is for vice chair. Do I have that nomination for vice chair?
I nominate Susan Harrison, who has been our for the past year and ably served in that capacity and he's sitting to Andrew's left, be his left-hand person.
Just keep shifting. I'd like to second.
Second, yes.
Seconded by Mr. Goodrich. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All in favor of Ms. Harrison, vice chair?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now for the most exciting position, we would like to open the floor for nominations for clerk. Would you like to make
How
that?
about Mr. Gilmore?
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor of Mr. Jamie Gilmore assuming the clerkship?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is a rite of passage and we welcome you to that responsibility.
I look forward to it.
And with that, I would be happy to turn it over to our official chair for the upcoming year.
Thank you. Well, it is an honor, getting shoes to fill from almost everyone who has preceded, but this is a great team. I'm excited for the year. We will now move into the walk-in period. Is there anyone here for the walk-ins? Now, I will also take this opportunity, I don't see any, so we have to mention something. Someone who has been an absolute institution. She has been a confidant, a problem solver, a mentor, a researcher, dabbles in public relations, a liaison, a writer, an advisor, and a coordinator, someone who does the right thing for the benefit of the town every single time. And besides all those things, dare I say, a friend.
You made me cry.
This is, for those of you at home or that don't know, this is Lorraine Devon's last select board meeting. And for someone who comes into the office to have a friendly face for someone so welcoming and so knowledgeable, it is a huge, huge loss. But a great asset you've done for this town for so many years. We cannot thank you enough.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Oh, boy. In the dark. Oh.
They have allergies.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, it's so beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Yay. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I'm glad to be here for your first meeting. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll miss you. I'll see you around town. I'll be at the beach.
Make sure you have the right sticker.
I do. I made sure of that. I do. I'm gonna put these on the back. Thank you so much. That was so kind of us. Yeah, thank you guys.
Lorraine, I'd like to say we know where you live.
Yeah. Yes,
So if we need you.
absolutely.
Don't change your phone number.
Anytime.
No.
No.
On the other hand, enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
You deserve it. You've done such a great job.
Thank
I'd like to say is, you know, you're such a good citizen, a loyal person, friend, and on a personal level, we've known each other for 20-some years. And every time I've had to deal with Lorraine, whether it was PTO or whatever, she's always been the one doing the work and working hard for whatever organization she works for. So, on behalf of all of the citizens in the town and all of the people that you've worked with over the years, heartfelt thanks. And as I say, enjoy your retirement.
I will. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, we still have a meeting.
That's right, you
Next is going to be the report of the town administrator. I do want to mention one thing beforehand, before we get to that report, and Jim will let you jump in, and this has to do with the water treatment plant. So this is an update that the water treatment plant, the construction bids have come in, and they are over budget by 21 million. And as a board, we need to evaluate the next steps and discuss the options. And so we should do so as quickly and prudently as possible. So that's why we have called for a special select board meeting, which will be tomorrow, right here at 6:30, to discuss all the different options. But I also need to stress the importance of this facility, that it needs to be built. And out of anything that this town does, it's difficult to think of things more important than providing clean water for our citizens, our neighbors, and our friends from a plant that meets all of the state guidelines. So tomorrow's meeting will be about the solutions that we can to make sure that this project goes through. With that, I will send it over to Jim for his update.
Good evening, welcome Mr. Gilmore, nice to see you.
Thank you.
It's that time of year, Memorial Day is coming, boats are back in the water, so we will now resume our weekly updates on our water system, our water levels. So Tack Factory Pond is at +7 inches, the reservoir's at +6 inches. Rainfall over the past 7 days was 1.30 inches measured at the plant, and demand for the past week was 1.274 million gallons. So starting the season, we're actually in good shape water-wise. Another reminder, with Memorial Day approaching, starting this weekend, you will need beach stickers with parking lot on all our beaches. They are required from Memorial Day weekend through Labor Day, and again, non-resident beach stickers are not viable, not allowed on the weekend, so if you have a non-resident beach sticker, you cannot park on the weekend, but we will be out there this weekend, looks like it's gonna be next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday anyway, so please make sure you have your beach stickers. The board wants to remind people that we're accepting applications for openings on the following boards at this time: Animal Control Board, Beautification Commission, Commission on Disabilities, Council on Aging, Public Building Commission, Situate Cultural Council, and the Water Resource Commission. Applications must be submitted to the board's office by Friday, May 31st. You can get them from the select board's office or download them from the town website. And then applicants will be invited to interview with the board of selectmen June, July, to fill those positions. The Purple Dinosaur Playground on Country Way will start the renovation on May 28th, which is Tuesday. We rebuild that playground, taking everything out, putting in a new playground that's handicap accessible, tailored for children ages 2 to 5. The project will take approximately 6 weeks, so it will be close to those 6 weeks, so please, we ask you not to go to the playground during that time, but it'll be worth the wait, so that's gonna start again on Tuesday. Also, the water department wants to let people know that Selco, our water replacement contractor, is replacing the water line on Jericho Road, again, starting on Tuesday the 28th. If you down tonight, you'll see some of the stuff repositioned at the landing. Residents should expect delays with that project, it's a big project, but we'll do as quickly as we can. Flushing of the water department, they are flushing along Country Way to First Parish, the side streets are also being flushed. If you're in that neighborhood, please be aware you may have discolored water from the flushing, check before you do your laundry and before you cook. If you have discolored water, you can run it in an outside spigot. Any issues or questions, you can call the water department. Again, the water department, our annual water conservation measures are now in effect, they run through September 30th. All outdoor watering must occur before 9 a.m. and after 5. From now until September 30th, automatic irrigation systems may be used 1 day per week as designated by the water department during the precinct. You can find that on the website. For those patrons who use the library on a regular basis, the library will be closed tomorrow, Wednesday, May 26th, for staff training. It will reopen on Thursday for normal hours. The grouting work at the lighthouse was completed today. So that's all finished. The contractor will be out there on site tomorrow to start taking down the scaffolding and bracing and cleaning up. That should be completed by the weekend. However, with rain forecast for Thursday, they will most likely not start the painting until next week. All the scaffolding stuff should be down for the Memorial Day weekend. A reminder that the Historic Society has tentatively set the August 7th National Lighthouse Day as a day to celebrate the reopening and the renovation of the Scituate Light. We will have more details on that. Scituate Fire Department and Scituate CERT team, supported by the Scituate Rotary Club, are hosting monthly free Stop the Bleed class and hands-only CPR sessions starting Thursday, May 30th at the Public Safety Complex from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Limited seating is available, only 20 per class will be accommodated. You can email Lieutenant Dave Bortolato at dbortolato@situatema.gov to reserve your spot. Those are good classes, I expect that to fill up short. The Dana-Farber Mammography Van will again be in Scituate on Thursday, June 13th from 7 a.m. to 3:15. Women aged 40 and older, interested in scheduling an appointment, can call the Mammography Van office 617-632-1974. And again, we'll be stationed across the street at St. Luke's Episcopal Church. We thank them for their help. If anybody has any questions, you can call the Scituate Board of Health, and they'll be glad to help you out and answer. Lastly, for tonight, a very quick update. The food pantry continues to see needs increases. Canned white tuna, canned mixed vegetables, cranberry juice, baked beans, yellow cake mix, canned mixed fruit, granola bars, yellow pudding cups, bread mix, and rice pilaf. They can be dropped off the pantry during operating hours. The bids behind the old gates, Scituate Library, Village Market, and Shaw's. It's really great to have tonight.
Questions? Good. We'll call Nancy Holt for the acceptance of the $600 recreation donation.
Good evening, welcome, Mr. Gilmore. The Recreation Department is in the town is to receive a $600 donation in memory of the former recreation director, Mark Lindsay, who was sadly passed away unexpectedly recently. These funds are for to provide scholarships to students who are students who may not be able to afford the programs, which would be administered by the recreation department, and it would be put into their gift account for that purpose.
Very generous. Very generous, very nice, yes.
Yeah, just what did you say it was from her Bible study group, wanted to acknowledge her?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful tribute and important group and a lot to her, so. Like,
Yes, motion please.
move to accept a donation of $600 for the Scituate Recreation Department from the Hingham Community Bible Study Group in memory of Laura Lansing.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Campbell, seconded by Ms. Conlon, all those in favor? Unanimous. Right, Bob Clark. Firefighters Union Agreement. How are you?
Good evening, how are you?
Doing well.
So, yes, I'm here to present the memorandum of agreement that we have reached with the firefighters union for successor bargaining, collective bargaining agreement. This would be for FY, for the next 3 fiscal years, so FY 25 through to FY 27. Just to say, when negotiating this contract with the firefighters, there were a number of pretty significant issues that the fire department was faced with. Probably the most significant really was just the issues we had with hiring paramedics. So, you know, as everyone knows, the vast majority of our calls, I think 60% of the fire calls are actually medical calls. And what has happened over the last few years, it's something that not just the town of Scituate, but all really municipalities faced with, is that there's a real lack of paramedics, qualified paramedics applying for firefighter jobs. So what happens is we go through a civil service process, we get a list of qualified paramedics, and it's usually minimal. So as a result, the town has had to hire EMTs recently to fill jobs and then look to get them trained and then ultimately become paramedics. So it was a concern for us, it's a concern for the firefighter union as well. And it was a real struggle that we had. In addition, the other sort of significant issue that we had in dealing with that we had to address with the fire union is the fact that with our compensation package in the town of Scituate, if you looked at the sort of 12 surrounding towns, we were actually the lowest compensation package of the 12 surrounding towns when it came to, you know, firefighter compensation. So these were rather significant issues that we had to address, and just to say, I think that over the years we've had, you know, a number of our contracts have actually gone to arbitration, or just come this close to having to go to arbitration. This process was really positive, productive, cooperative. It was helpful, I think, with this sort of new regime. Ultimately, we ended up agreeing to a contract which would be consist of 3% negotiated wage increases each year. So basically, COLAs, 3% COLAs for each of the 3 years. But again, in a sort of desire to address the paramedic issues that we had, or the lack of paramedic hires, we were in a position where we had to significantly increase the compensation to paramedics. So the first year, a lot of times we do end up doing stipends. We just wanted to do a base wage increase. The first year, the wage increase was 9% for paramedics. The second year, that increase for paramedics would be another 1%. And the third year would be 2%. And we really were in a position, we were that far, we were lagging to that extent that we actually had to really sort of come to the table and help our compensation. Again, I think this is an example of where I think that the fire union was really cooperative, because it was a few things that were really critical to us. We wanted language that allowed us to require newly hired EMTs to go and get their paramedics certification within a certain period of time. Without that language, we would have been in a situation in which we had EMTs for long periods of time. we ultimately agreed to language in which we would require all newly hired EMTs to get a paramedic certification within 2 years. And if they're not able to do that, then that's, be a loss of employment for them. So we were confident that we would be able to staff up paramedics moving forward. Another sort of significant contract agreement that the town had was some changes to the sick leave monitoring policy, in which we really felt like we could much better monitor sick leave use and abuse in the unit. So we were appreciative of the fire union for coming to the table and agreeing to that. In the last, the last and certainly not insignificant change is that the fire union also agreed to pull out of civil service, similar to what we've done with the police union. Civil service, and I think we talked about this last time, we talked about the police contract. It's really sort of this archaic system, it's not working particularly well anymore, and it's actually become somewhat of an obstacle to us. So again, what happens currently, even if we wanted to say like do a lateral transfer of a firefighter, we would only be able to do that from another civil service town. So by pulling out of civil service, we would be able to take lateral transfers from non-civil service towns. So again, all of these changes were with the goal of making sure that our compensation package was competitive, we weren't losing people, we could recruit people, we could then ultimately retain them. The agreement on the civil service change really actually ultimately requires us to go to a town meeting to have the vote to pull out of civil service, similar to what we did with the police. We're not anticipating any issues with that. The fire union, we have heard, overwhelmingly accepted the agreement, the MOA. So we felt it was, it was positive in that manner as well, that I feel like the membership was happy with
That's great synopsis, but also thank you for all the hard work, all the numerous hours and hours it takes. It's great to hear how it was received. Questions, concerns?
No, I just wanna expand on that, I mean, the history of these negotiations, I wanna commend you and Jim and the whole team for, and the new fire chief and his team for really coming and productively work on this. It's an enormous amount of changes and congratulations.
I'd like to add that I reflect Karen's words. I think it makes us more competitive. It's nice to see both the firefighters union and the town working together to bring positive elements for the future of the town. So thank you.
I agree, I have one question, based on the percent, one's at 3% or, and then 9%. What does that mean for dollars? Is that in line with what we've been budgeting or what we've kind of projected through this?
I mean, it was, we certainly have not, I don't think that we budgeted to that level,
Right.
Again, it wasn't insignificant, but, so for the first year, it's including everything, again, that's when the 9% hits and the 3%, but the first year is 385,000. And then it goes, FY 26, 175,000, and FY 27 is 180,000. So the first year is a sort of heavy hit that it will shoot.
Right.
But the other dynamic, I mentioned the fact that, municipalities are just not able to recruit paramedics. So a lot of the other towns had already addressed this, and so they're already giving significant bumps for paramedics. And so it really put us in a situation that we had no choice but just like, to come to the table.
If we can get closer to fully staffed, a lot of the savings come from the overtime, because right now we really have tremendous amounts of overtime. Because we're just not
Right.
close to being staffed, we just can't get people to work.
Yeah, that's our biggest overtime line.
So, and I think the other thing that, when Bob and I talked about this, we made sure we put the money in the paramedics. So we get paramedics, because it's one of the jobs in town where the difference between paramedic and EMT, we just, some are living and dying back of the EMT. So
Yeah.
we had to hire some EMTs, we could get paramedics. like I said before, if we're interviewing a paramedic, they've already interviewed Al, they've interviewed Hingham, they interviewed Cohasset, they want to know all Marshfield, that they there. So we have to make sure that the pay is competitive, so when they come here, they just stay with us.
No, I appreciate the effort, I was just, dollars mean what I did in person.
Well, if I can say, having been on the advisory board for 7 years and then this board for 5 years, I know what a significant achievement this is and how important it is to the town. And I thank you, Jim, the union, especially. Some years have not been so easy, and I know it's difficult, but I thank you very much and everyone who's involved, and the fire chief as well. So congratulations and it's significant. Thank you.
Well, like I said, the union came in and they said, honestly, we want to get this done, we want a good relationship, we want to change the dynamic, and they were fantastic. Fantastic to work with. There wasn't any acrimony, I mean, there was a lot of discussion, and sometimes might have got heated, but there was no acrimony. That went very well, so I think we're in a good place with that, and a good place with the police union, pretty much all I can say. A lot of
That's
that-
terrific. That really is true.
A lot of that goes to Bob, because they did Bob a lot.
Well, high school graduation is coming up, and it sounds like paramedic could be a good career choice for you, and, you're out there listening. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the collective bargaining memorandum agreement for the Scituate firefighters union local 1464 bargaining unit.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Campbell, seconded by Ms. Connolly. All those in favor? It is unanimous. Right. Next, we are going to discuss an easement relocation for 61 New Driftway. Steve Gard. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Gard. For the record, I represent the 61 Driftway. Pleasure to see everyone this evening. This is the property that's located on the corner of New and Old Driftway. It's the dog daycare place right now. But it has been recently approved by the planning board for a mixed-use development in the transportation overlay district with 22 residential units and a handful of retail/office units on the first floor. So during that process, we discovered that in 1963, prior to 1963, Driftway actually ran diagonally across this spot. In 1963, the town performed a taking where they reconfigured the intersection and squared it up, which is the intersection that we see today with the city. But they abandoned the Driftway as it went through that lot. They reserved to themselves the right to keep water mains and utilities in that abandoned right of way of the public. So what we have done is that rather than in our research, we found that there aren't any utilities in this located in this area. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They just go around the corner of the public way. However, if we were to ask the town to abandon or relinquish their interest in real estate for this particular easement, right, we would have to go to town meeting. So rather than have to go to town, it's much easier to just do a relocation. Relocation, the select board can then grant, and we just relocate it within the site. Probably never going to be used, but it could be used down the road. In the discussions throughout the planning board process, we talked about how to relocate the easement. As you can see in your packet, and I brought some photocopies if you don't have them with you. It's going to be relocated within the parking area so it's going to be on the asphalt. Okay, it's a subsurface utility easement that gives the town the right to do all of the rights that they have in the easement retention during the taking process in 1963. It doesn't change any of that. The interesting thing too is that if you notice on the plan that I submitted with the draft document, that the current structure is located almost half in the easement. So no one was really paying attention back then when the structure was built, but nonetheless, we will not have a structure that's within the easement after we are done doing the development of the property. So I do have a memo to that effect, which sort of summarizes what I just said. The attached to the declaration of water easement relocation is a copy of the exhibit plan that was prepared by Morse Engineering showing the relocation of the easement. And the document itself has been reviewed by town council, thanks to Lorraine. And there were no any significant changes, a couple of typos. I did speak with Kevin Caffrey from DPW. He was concerned that there might be utilities there, so what I offered to do to satisfy his, concern was to incorporate into the document that the burden property, meaning my clients, would relocate any easements, any utilities that they found when they were digging up for the building, and they put them into the new easement areas. There's no cost to the town. This is not gonna cost the town anything whatsoever. This is just a private servitude between the owner of the land and the town, and we're relocating it to allow for this development to go forward.
Thank you. We'll open it up. First questions, or actually, Jim, any red flags? Not, it all seems pretty comfortable. Question?
He answered the question I
Yeah.
had, was it for town council? It was there.
Yeah, this is, and again, folks at home, we've got all the backup, so this is pretty, we're moving.
Just moving on.
15 yards, and it's, we're already there, so, seeing no concerns, we have a motion.
Move that the select board approve the water main easement relocation at 61 New Driftway and authorize property owners council to record such easement. Applicant has agreed to DPW conditions. If any utilities discovered, the owner of the property will be responsible for the relocation of utilities in the new easement at no cost to the town of Scituate. The new easement will be in asphalt and placed to be in such a way as to not impact the building if said easement access is ever made by the town. Second.
Moved by Ms. Canfield, seconded by Ms. Conley. All those in favor? Aye. It is unanimous.
Thank you very much, folks.
Great. We're now, DPW, contracts. Cafferty.
Good evening.
Yeah. Let's talk sidewalks.
Stock sidewalks, one of our favorite things to talk about.
I do love talking about sidewalks.
We have been pretty aggressive with them. I don't know what we would have sidewalk construction going this year, but we want to renew the contract. We did through the MAPC. And this is to renew the contract with the new bid prices for Casco construction. Now, the prices have gone up, the cost of granite curbs gone up.
By how much?
Well, straight curb, last year we were paying $57 a ton for it, this year it's $74 a ton. On a linear foot, sorry, not a ton. We're buying that for tons of granite and changing. We'll buy a lot more. The radius curbing went from $67 to $88. Tuminous concrete sidewalk went from $68 a square yard to $82 a square yard.
Is that mostly material or what's driving them,
Material and labor costs, it's an open bid process, so, it's kind of hard to say the actual.
Yeah, I think this is through the procurement procedure that we have to follow.
Yeah, it's actually a joint bid with all of Plymouth County, all of South Shore, so we all get the same prices, and we get better prices by doing it as a group, through the NIPC, so Franklin pays the same if they use Casco, including, so, we all estimate what we could potentially do for sidewalk, put it in the NIPC bids, and we do that for line striping and water rights.
Seeing no other, oh, you have, oh, sorry.
Not gonna let you out of that easily.
I'm open.
So where are these sidewalks going to go?
So right now, we don't have anything, we have sidewalks that are scheduled. As the select board said, our next, we have one particular sidewalk that we would be working on next if we get grant opportunities to get the money. But there are some occasions where we have sidewalk that is in very bad shape, we have to make repairs on. And we use this contract to do it. Last year, we used some of our chapter 90 money, and we did some repairs to the sidewalks. Over by where the new school is gonna go in that area there. We keep the contract valid every year, so that if we do have an occasion and have the funds, available, or got a grant, we could go out and do the sidewalk without doing the full engineering study.
So Stockbridge Road might be, if you were to get a grant, are we in a position
we
to get
were-
one of those
if-
grants? 'Cause I know we sort of used up one of them.
I believe we have another year to get, to be open for the complete streets grant. One of my, engineers watches that pretty closely, Jeff Chessier, and he monitors for any grants that are related to open space or sidewalks. So if that did become available, we would use these prices. What we would do is we do a comparison on the prices that we received from the engineering firm that designed that, and see if we might get better bang for our buck. If we did it as a whole project, we'd make that decision, what the funds were.
Because in my opinion, I think a lot of people think that Stockbridge Road is kind of a necessary and important road to finish sidewalk since the, Greenbush all the way down to Farm. So,
I get a call about once a week with people asking for a sidewalk on the roads.
oh, I'm sure you do, but it's our job up here to prioritize.
Yep, no, that's
I
the
think we
direction
have
we want.
talked about that sidewalk a number of times, a number of years, so. You know, clearly there are places on Country Way, for example, that are in dreadful shape, but those are just sidewalks, so. At any rate, so I'm happy to hear that it's on the list. That's my question.
The board had previously put Stockbridge Road next on the list, so
Yes.
that's the next one we'll do, with the complete streets grant.
Right, and that was the way we were gonna use the funds for the next complete streets plan. We have had some issues where we had to make repairs for
Of course.
on sidewalks. You know, up on some Patrick Lake Road, we're losing some curbing that's been there, it's just falling apart, we might have to replace some, if we did, we might use this contract to do that. We just monitor it.
Okay, thank you. What, remind me the budget, the line item for, 25 for, we don't separate sidewalks, it's all, it's long, never mind. I agree.
Good motion.
Move to award contract to Pasco Construction Inc. of Belmont, Mass. to provide sidewalk construction, reconstruction, and repair for all extensions after the addresses indicated.
Second.
By Ms. Canfield, seconded by Ms. Conley, all those in favor?
It is unanimous.
All right, potassium hydroxide.
So that's the next one on the list, and we did that through the Eastern Massachusetts Chemical Cooperative. And that's how we buy most of our chemicals, we try to buy most of our chemicals for the water treatment plant and the wastewater treatment plant. We do use a lot of potassium hydroxide, and fortunately, I don't have my sheet that says the most updated prices. I believe it's 467 and 443.
So.
Top of my memory, was I close?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anything, we're getting a little lucky because I had last year's contract and I brought this year's contract, left this year's contract on my desk, so I haven't last year's. So last year we were paying $521.26 per gallon, when we bought the bulk rate for less than 3,000 gallons. And over 3,000 gallons, we we're paying $4.99, so that went down to $4.43. So that's a reduction of about 50 cents a gallon, which is good, we use a lot of it. But
Yeah,
it's not often I can say something went down.
No, yeah.
I'll take it.
What does potassium hydroxide do?
They use it in the wastewater treatment plant, a lot of it, and they have a big container of it, and I think it changes, it adjusts the pH, but I can give you a tour and we'll show you exactly where they add it and what they do with it.
We're due for another tour. I think I never
The hopper that's on the backside near Go Green, that thing that looks like it's from a farm, that's where the potassium hydroxide goes in, it's added to the system.
All right. Decrease, yeah, 11, 12%,
Nice.
the price decreases.
Yeah.
Order to award a contract to Gordon and Remington Fall River to provide potassium hydroxide at a unit price of $4.67 per gallon for bulk deliveries less than 3,000 gallons and $4.43 per gallon for bulk deliveries of more than 3,000 gallons for an aggregate amount not to exceed $350,000 for fiscal year 2025.
Moved by Ms. Conley, for a second. Second by Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Boy, let's skip over the next one.
I think
Public hearing.
public
Here
hearings.
it's seven, so we'll move right to Nancy for declaration of surplus.
We knocked out a whole bunch of agenda items, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
So it's the wonderful time where we take the items that we no longer have use for and see if somebody else has use for them, and we'll leave taxpayers back for what they listed. So you have a list in front of you that Michelle put together from reaching out to different departments. Various items, sprayer from Widow's Walk, some equipment from IT, a couple of copiers, a Ford van and a Chevy Silverado. And I believe the school has some textbooks or library books that we sold the book room in the whole days multiple times. So those are always good. And the last two times we sold them, they went to third world countries. So nice.
Page 94.
So if this does get passed, folks know that there could be a golf cart up for auction, also a Fender speaker, a mixing board. A nice color copier and a few vehicles too, the Ford and the Chevy.
Maybe Seth will do his thing where he shows all the different options.
I would love it, that'd be fabulous.
That would be good.
Do that last. All right. Let's get rid of this.
Yeah, let's get rid of it. But, question. So what about, so how long does this usually take?
The auctioneer will come out and take pictures of everything. And then, put the site together, and then it will be announced on the town's website that it's available. And it's usually at least two weeks that it's out there for active bidding.
All right, so, okay.
Yeah, it will tell you sometime in the summer, probably late June or probably July, what the net was from the sale of the items.
Folks should under also accurate descriptions, as we see, it is two pleather love seats, so that, not actual leather, it is pleather, so be forewarned. All right, do I have a motion?
Move to approve a surplus auction dispose of obsolete vehicles and items as provided in the document in our backup.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Canfield, seconded by Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Yeah, we can release some MBTA funds.
So, there still are some MBTA funds that are left from when the training came through and there was some settlement funds that were given to the town. They're for historical purposes and they're specific to buildings or sites. So the first one request we have for you is to release $2,495 of the remaining $11,000 that is set aside for the White House beacon. The MBTA funds, and that would buy us a new marine beacon for when the White House gets relit. There were two options that were given to me by Deb Martell on the committee. Of course, they liked the more expensive option, which had an outer coating to it. And it was nice, it was about $500 more, but unfortunately, the lead time is 8 weeks, which puts us right about when we were gonna relight it. So I opted for the less expensive item that's before you tonight, which will come in 4 weeks. Our luck is within that break with running the line, so I really didn't wanna have the relighting ceremony without a call.
Page 95, on our backup. Could you just quickly tell us a little more about the MBTA Historical Resource Fund, so that's.
Sure. So the MBTA, when the train came in, there were a lot of different settlement buckets, so to speak. Most of it has been used over the years, as Central Harbor Community Building, that property, that project right now is using those funds from when we bought that property. And right now we have, it's $52 for streetscapes, 11,000 for the lighthouse weekend, a little bit of money for man house. And then the select board a year or two ago transferred the sidewalk money up for after we had the vermin, a little skunk infestation, so we can make those repairs. There is very little left after all this time, but it's being put to good use if the board sees fit to release the funds. And this would be an LED light, didn't mention that before.
Ms. Burke, I think to say this, I think you have to state your name.
And I think you have to call on me first.
Oh.
Ann Burbine, 10 Hillcrest Road. What is the shelf life of less expensive memory?
60,000 hours for both of them.
For both of them, but in terms of, is it worth the savings vis-a-vis the time? I mean, if we can spend what we need to spend and do it right,
There's nothing wrong with either one of them, there were two different options. You could certainly go for the more expensive option, the main difference was the light. The more expensive one had an outer coating around it. So that was the real difference between them.
is that important for the longevity of this lamp?
They have the same longevity, the more expensive one was their first choice, so they provided both choices. So you could buy one of each if you wanted to, I don't know what the shelf life is of an LED bulb. I brought forward this one to you only because of the timeline with the relighting of the lighthouse.
Oh yeah, they're the same. Okay, sorry, yes.
Will we be able to get this by 7?
This one has a 4-week lead time, the other one has an 8-week lead time, which was making me nervous.
We're pretty set in stone on August 7th. I think we put this up, put this up, put this up. And for us to not be able to relight the lighthouse on the day we're scheduled to relight the lighthouse would be distressing, to say the least.
I agree, and Jeff said we do have the existing bulb now, so they could put something in if it didn't arrive. Murphy's Law on the lighthouse just doesn't work real well for me in this process, so.
Okay.
So really, so the lumens are the same, the light is, it's really just that.
You gotta recover.
Just that little. It's a little plastic cover, not plastic, it's a little. It's really just that cover thing,
That's all I can see that was different between.
lumens, length of time. This is a good question.
It's agreed.
Same warranty, performance warranty?
They both meet the US Coast Guard specifications 205, they both have the same temperature. They can go from -68 Fahrenheit to 131 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's just that.
Can I ask, Jim, do you have to meet US Coast Guard specifications since it's not a?
Yeah, it's a private aid for navigation, so it still needs to meet those kind of specifications.
Yes.
More fundamental question on this. So I'm a little surprised that the light of the lighthouse renovation is an add-on. You know, this is, I just am surprised that it's this late in the day we're having this conversation.
This conversation's been happening since the whole lighthouse project was ongoing. We just haven't gotten towards the end of it. They have a light now. This would be replacing that functioning light with an LED light, which would throw less heat. And so there is,
Lasts longer.
yeah, I don't know whether or not it would qualify under CPA funds, because it's not, you're not rehabilitating the lighthouse by changing up the light bulb.
I think that's my question, is being rehabilitated lighthouse, to me, I don't understand why it wasn't in the original.
And they have no
Specs.
funds left.
They have funds left.
Well, then why wouldn't they use CPC funds?
They could go to the CPC and ask if they felt that this was something that they would cover.
That's in addition to what was approved.
Yes, this would be.
Well, it's already, there's funds left in the CPC project. Whether or not a bulb will be covered, I don't know. It was brought to the end because we knew we had MBTA funds specific to the lighthouse beacon. Okay. So I can go back and ask the account that question, and it's fine, whatever you want to do.
Well, to Karen's point, how can we have a lighthouse without the light?
It has a light.
It has a light.
This
So
change-
why are we changing it? Is it gonna save money in terms of energy? Is it?
It's LED, so it throws less heat, so it's better for the ventilation. So it's not generating additional heat source.
Excuse me. CPC voted the $2 million to renovate the lighthouse. And part of that renovation, as far as I am concerned, even though I can't speak for Dan Finley, would include a new light. You know, I mean, seriously. I mean, it's part of the whole program. We had to replace cement blocks. We had to replace copper. We had to replace.
Well, that's why I was asking the question.
Right.
Because if they still have money in the budget, I don't know why they wouldn't purchase a new light.
Yes,
I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
Just
Saying.
If, well, here's my question then, so if we went to CPC and they still have money left over, can they just buy it? Or-
I can send an email to Dan Finley asking him if this is something he feels called for the project. If he does, fine, we buy the light, we buy the bulb. If it doesn't, then 2 weeks from now, I'm back for you saying he didn't feel that it qualified, and I still need you to approve the purpose of the bulb.
I would suggest that we
We
make a motion.
approve pending.
Including that, make
Right.
a motion that includes that option.
Exactly.
Includes the option.
Well, if they say no.
If they say no,
Then
then
we
they're
direct them,
authorized
Then you can go right ahead and buy the bulb.
But if they say yes, they buy.
Love it.
And
We
you don't
we
have
like
to
that?
delay it.
Is that okay? No?
It's fine, I just feel like it's a part of the project. I don't-
Yeah.
Chair, I'm just wondering if the CPC was a structural approval for structural renovation.
It was
This
too,
is not structural, this is a light.
good. You don't have a lighthouse without a light, and granted,
But it
they
has
said they have a light, but
an old light.
This is, yeah, I guarantee this is one of those, oh, we have a light, we didn't spend it, and now we're there, now we need the LED, but let's approve it for CPC, and then with the caveat of, if they can't, then we will use, that,
sure,
alright,
yes.
Move to purchase an LED lantern for the lighthouse as specified in our backup, from CPC fundings already allocated for the lighthouse renovation. And,
May I make a suggestion?
yes,
If we could use the motion that's here, and at the end of it say, if CPC funds are not available.
oh, that's much.
strike that motion, let's start over.
Move to release $2,495 for the remaining unallocated BTA historic resource funds for the Lighthouse Beacon, of $11,000 to be used for the purchase of a new LED lighthouse beacon maritime lantern in the event CPC fundings are not approved for said purchase.
Alright, motion by Ms. Canfield, a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is unanimous. Right. We have 5 minutes for Van House.
We'll do that one, even faster. So as we know, the Pepperwood House had a little problem with the skunk infestation, and the Mann House had a drop-in resident that was a referral, popped in through the chimney, made a little bit of a mess, and set off all the alarms. So Scituate Historical Society or Claude Chessie went out there and held the night with the police department, and they ushered the invited guests out. Service master had come in and done a little bit of a cleaning to address the issues. There's approximately just over $3,180 to be paid for that. There is some funds left in MBTA. There is a man-house gift account, which we normally pay the expenses out of, but they took basically knocked in half. So what I'm requesting of the board is just to use the remaining $2,984.88 in man-house MBTA funds with the man-house gift fund, pay the bill for the red squirrel visitation. And in the meantime, I have spoken about Chesia, and they are getting, the Historical Society is getting quotes on putting these chimney caps on both Cudworth and
A polite way to say visitation.
It was short-lived,
That was very nice.
no time to nest.
All right. This was a little bit more straightforward, but questions?
No,
No.
Perfect.
I'm running out of bourbon.
All right.
I'll say that.
Are we sure it was a red squirrel?
There's a police report.
There's a police report?
They responded, it's probably in the police line.
We should send in blue.
Motion, please.
Resisting arrest.
Move to release the remaining unallocated MBTA historic resource funds for the man house and barn amounting to $2,984.80 to be used in conjunction with $195.12 from the man house gift fund for the remediation of a red squirrel visitation and general cleaning at that house.
Ms. Canfield, do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Conley, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Vote is unanimous.
One last one, Mr. Chair, if you're so willing.
We have 3 minutes.
I can do it. Okay, so your last one is another award contract. Now that the course maintenance for Wheels Walk has been brought in-house, we did have to put out a sealed bid for golf course chemicals. And the winner of the sealed bid was Atlantic Golf and Turf LLC. You have a listing of the bids that were received and of the price proposal. Two of the other bidders, one of them only bid on half of the items, and the third bidder bid on most everything but made substitutions and didn't give us a full price list. So that's how Atlantic Golf and Turf became the only responsible bidder and the lowest bidder.
Is this,
1 year supply of
right,
all
is
these
this
chemicals.
what we were expecting within the range?
Yes.
Actually, they're already.
Yeah, when they gave me a listing of chemicals they were gonna need, it was $80,000. I'm like,
All right,
that's a sealed bid process.
Right, and then, yeah, and then we're still here. Yeah. All right. No questions. On the motion,
Move to award a one-year contract to Atlantic Golf and Turf LLC of Turner's Falls, Massachusetts, to provide various golf course chemicals at the unit prices in the bid submission received on May 14, 2024, for an amount not to exceed $78,480.53.
motion by Ms. Conley, second by Ms. Harrison, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Right. Seeing that it is 7:00 on my, that's a 7. We have a minute. But by the time people come up, so we have the Oysterman, we have a public hearing, discussion and vote of a new annual all alcohol restaurant license. Omenset Inc. Omenset. I like that. This says Oysterman, James, all right. So what are we trying to do here? Tell us all about Oysterman. Oh, we have someone here. Hi.
We don't hear
You're on
you.
mute.
And this is attorney, Stephanie Boudreau.
Stephanie Boudreau from Arla. Can you hear me now?
We hear
Yes,
you great.
okay.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you great. It's all working.
All right.
So thank you so much for your time this evening, Select Board. My name is Stephanie Boudreau from Arla in Brookline. Here with me tonight, or there with you tonight, is Dermot Loftus, who's the president of the applicant corporation, and Chris Schweiger, who is an officer and director of the applicant, as well as the proposed manager of record. The proposal before the board tonight is for a new all alcoholic beverage license and common vic to be exercised at 348 New Driftway in Building A, which is located in the new Sky Sail at Driftway, which is the mixed commercial and retail use development in Scituate. The applicant has entered a 10-year lease with the owner, the residences at Driftway Place, and is planning to commence the build out of the restaurant after the license is approved. The applicant intends to operate a full-service seafood restaurant under the name of the Oysterman, which will be the second Oysterman restaurant, the first of which has been successfully operating in Duxbury since 2016. The proposed location consists of 3,500 square feet interior, 1,316 square feet of a patio with seating for 130 inside and 40 seats on the patio. There is also a 1,200 square foot office where alcohol will be served, so that is part of the application. And a floor plan of both of those, or all three of those spaces, has been submitted to the board for review. The proposed hours for the applicant are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 11, Friday and Saturday, 11 to 12 a.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. There is also an entertainment application before the board. The applicant proposes to have radio, tape music, and occasional live music indoors Monday to Thursday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., Friday through Sunday, 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. And outdoors are a bit different with Monday and Friday and Sunday, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. The applicants have experience operating a number of restaurants with liquor license in Massachusetts, which at present include the Oysterman in Duxbury, the Anchor in Duxbury, as well as a newer restaurant called the Blacksmith in Pembroke. The proposed manager of record, Chris Schweiger, has experience in the liquor industry since 2008, most recently as the manager of the original Oysterman. He is over 21, U.S. citizen, crowd management certified, tip certified, and familiar with the rules and regulations of this board and the state. The application was advertised in the Patriot Ledger on May 3rd, and abutters were notified of both the liquor license and entertainment license application by certified mail, and the return receipts have been provided to the licensing clerk. We believe that the opening of the Oysterman will enhance the new Driftway luxury development and add significant value to the residents of Scituate. And the three of us are here to answer any questions that the board might have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just say for the record that Attorney Boudreau is no relation?
No relation. All right. Thank you. Thank you, first of all. Thank you for coming here and talking about the Oysterman. But I guess my first question is, I want to hear why. Why Scituate? Why this location? Like, what do you see as a vision?
Or here,
For like, we know about, we love Scituate, we want to hear from you, why you think it's a great spot.
it might be unfinished business for me. I was speaking outside that myself and my wife were originally going to move into the South Shore. We were outbid on a house on Beaver Dam here in Scituate. And as a result, ended up in Duxbury. And through that, I worked in the restaurant industry my entire life. And through that, we saw an opportunity to do something. And I had known Chris from Boston. And we opened the Oysterman there. Kind of maybe captured a little something special. It worked really well for us and kind of we've grown from there. So I kind of think it's full circle to come back around and finish here. And then when the space that the brew company had done there at the residence was brought to our attention, I know I went in and seen it's fantastic. The development and actually the commercial space as well is really appealing. So that's it. We're excited and hoping that we get going.
All right, I'll open it up. Yes.
Couple of questions. On the layout, you just walk me through, you've got these two wings,
Yeah.
so walk me through how you think the operations are gonna work as far as.
Sure, you're looking at the plan right there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you'll be entering the main entrance, which is in the middle between both. And that's where you'll be greeted. You'll have the option to do a reservation, be going into the restaurant, which is the main room. Or you'll have the options to go into the bar area, it's slightly more casual. dining area. If you're familiar with the oyster, you may be familiar with the anchor, which is its kind of little sister in Duxbury, so it's the same kind of a nod to the anchor. It's a little bit more casual, a little more option maybe for families, for younger, for bringing kids in. So that'll be it. If you want, you can have a drink there, and then the call brought into the main table. And we also have some patio room, seasonal weather, usually people inside.
And then, your background is, that's the normal questions we have about background.
Yeah, so born and raised in Ireland, my grandfather had a bar, he had 9 kids, and 5 of those opened bars, worked in most. So I ended up in Boston back in '97 in Southie. I've been kind of chipping away like every bartender with the dream to open a place. And luckily, we're kind of came true, and now we're looking to open the 4th place.
Well, I'm mostly interested in the manager's experience.
This
because-
guy's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, that's one thing I'm sure you know, and I know your reputation is great, so I'm not worried that our number one concern about that issue of these licenses is we take the supervision and the privilege of serving the law very seriously. And so I just would like to hear a little bit about how you handle, I know you're certified in dining experience, but your perspective.
I'm originally from Baltimore. I moved to Boston in '93 to go to grad school. I got a master's degree in music, so if you're gonna get a master's degree with trombone, you better know how to work in a restaurant. So I worked from 2003 to 2014. I was the manager of the Hill Tavern, a really busy pub. At the same time, I also worked at Scituate, which is the Asiatic restaurant at the Liberty Hotel. I left those jobs in 2014 to move to Pembroke. I took over managing Ortec when he was on Market Street in Pembroke. That's when I met Dermot, and around the same time, I worked there for 16, so I've been managing restaurants now for 25 years. And obviously, there's a lot of responsibility with the liquor license as far as responsible service of alcohol, and I think my record is spotless.
Great. It's exciting, and we're very thrilled that this area is really doing what we hoped it would do, so welcome to Scituate.
No, I'm good. It seems as though we're attracting a lot of Irish investors is all I can say.
I love it.
I just want to have a couple of questions. I know the Oysterman in Duxbury, and I think it's a great place. I can say that. Little advertising for you.
Thank you.
In the formal dining room, I see there's a bar area there too, that has about 5 seats. Is that, or am I misunderstanding the way that?
No, there's 20 seats in the main,
I see
main
that?
dining room.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, in
In the formal dining room, or the nicer,
yeah, the main
reservation,
room, the main room.
there is a bar there too?
There is a center bar, it's a square bar in the center, but it's also a raw bar. There'll be somebody opening oysters,
Oh, I see.
chucking
Okay.
oysters there. I think you may show it there towards the front.
And the letter that went to the abutters, any responses back from anybody?
I know we received all the stamp certificates that they were received. We're not aware of any.
We did not receive
Complaints.
any calls from any of the
Exactly.
abutters. No.
Well, I can only wish you well.
Thank you very much.
I have to ask a little more questions. Actually, I do have a question. If you've been in Scituate, you know, we have a working harbor and we have lobstermen,
Yeah.
Great
you know,
fish.
great fish, scallops that come in right into Cook Parkway, and soon to have, oysters. Do you intend to sell local fish, scallops, oysters,
Maybe more
haddock?
than you already think. That is part of, and we're already working with people
Great,
locally, and I've spoken with a local lobsterman. His lobster will feature on the raw bar,
yeah,
and it'll be used in some of the dishes there. One of the things why there was success for the oyster in Duxbury is that it was from me hanging out in the harbour and meeting the oystermen. I didn't know an oyster, you know, when I got there, and then saw the process and the idea that something that took 3 years went through someone's hands 7 different times to come before it hit you on the plate.
Yeah.
So that's what we've worked with. You know, we actually have an oyster that's going to grow a specific oyster for us for both restaurants. But we're all about those makeups for here. I don't wanna say too much because I wanna hold some of
Yeah,
those things as a surprise menu wise. But we certainly are thinking the same way that you're suggesting.
Okay, well, I would encourage you to hang out at Fisher Harbor too. Meet all local fishing.
Yeah, so before we get to motions, yeah, I mean, as we know, Citrus lobster is much superior lobster, Maine lobster. And the scallops are just fabulous, but the only way that we can't hold you to, but I know, being an expert in other places, really encourage you to just get involved with the local community, the softball teams, the little league teams. We love our local restaurateurs, and we love to get involved, and they're wonderful people, and, you know, it's like a family, so be part of that family and reach out, and we would love to see, get involved in it. It's, you know, welcome with arms, I'm assuming I'm the read that I'm getting, so with that, I'll have a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I thought you had-
No, just one question about the outdoor entertainment. You're including amplification. I don't know, Lorraine knows all the stuff. Do we have any licenses for amplified outdoor entertainment?
Yes. We just recently approved CPs, and I just compared the times, and they're within the similar time frames.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
because it seemed like it was a lot.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we encourage the applicant to put everything on the table tonight.
Right,
You know,
absolutely.
what do you want for outdoor entertainment, what do you want for indoor entertainment, and common vic, so they.
No, it was extremely comprehensive. I
Yes.
just couldn't remember
Yeah.
that we had outdoor amplified, so always an issue.
We do, it's basically, you know, and I don't think they're gonna have a full-fledged band out there. I think what their plan is like an acoustic singer and guitarist with the amplification for that.
Well, I
Music.
read 5-piece.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Did I read something about
I-
5-piece?
I have to double check.
Acoustic singers.
What we did is we placed, on the advice from speaking to town hall here, was we placed an application forward for both indoor and outdoor in those specific hours. We've never had live music at any of our restaurants to date in the last 8 years. So it's certainly not part of our business plan. It's not that we're gonna have music 3 nights a week, it's not our business. But to have that in place and not to have to come back in front of the board
I
again
understand.
is the reason we went with
The problem is we're the ones who get the complaints.
it. Yeah.
And so, you know, and that is not a highly populated area yet. But obviously, there are tons of apartments over there. If it's an existing business and you move in, well then, you know, you bought in, but, I'm just concerned that we haven't had, it's the outdoor amplified,
Yeah, I can
so.
Well, yeah, I mean,
If
you
it's
could make it,
amplified acoustic, it's still amplified.
It's still not.
That's what we did with TK.
Yeah, so this is all, so the end time, right, is, we're now consistent versus what we were before, so I'm with you. Yeah, I guess it's 9 PM, and then Friday, Saturday till 10.
which is the same as CPs.
The golf, yeah, and I think the golf course one, the.
Yes, golf course too.
That's a good question.
You could, you know, I'm sure the applicant wouldn't mind if you change it to a 3-piece group of acoustic singers, guitarists with amplification as opposed to 5, which makes it consistent with what we have there now.
That's probably better.
perfectly happy with that.
Sure they.
Point of
Yes.
information. I thought this was the site where CP's was going. Where is the CP one?
CP's is the one on the back on the street.
In the building. In
The
the
little building in the back there, that was built by itself.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I was like so confused when this came in.
So this is going sort of across from the train station on that.
Yeah, when you look at the building from the street on the far left, there's a patio area, so it's right in that area, kind of swapping around the patio, it's the last building on the left.
Yeah, it's gonna make that area livelier, yeah, it's a great, it's great. Move green.
Motion.
Move to approve a new annual on premises, section 12, restaurant and alcoholic beverages license for Omanset Inc. doing business as the Oysterman located 348 Driftway Building A, Scituate, Mass. Total square footage of the first floor establishment is 3,500 square feet, with an additional 1,316 square feet of office storage space on the second floor, for a total square footage of 4,816 feet. Hours of operation for liquor sales inside are Sundays 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., Monday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Outdoor patio hours are Sunday through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., pending ABCC approval. And move to approve a common license for Omanset.
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 Oman is the name for oysterman.
Yeah.
Scituate.
This is the oyster for Sunday 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., Monday through Thursday 10 a.m., 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday, Saturday 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. pending board health approval. And further, to move to approve a new entertainment license for Omanset, doing business as the Oysterman, indoors up to a 5-piece live band with amplified singers guitars, Sunday 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., Monday through Thursday 12 p.m. to 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday 12 p.m. to 11 p.m., and outdoors up to a 3-piece group of acoustic singers, guitars, with amplification, Sunday through Thursday 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Canfield, second by Ms. Conley. All those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Welcome.
When will you be open?
Really good question. We'd love to be open.
It's all someone asking.
We'd love to be open. Mission now to start.
The
We have-
holidays,
Yeah.
which holidays?
The holidays of 4th of July.
I've had contractors tell me the holidays.
Yeah, no, so we hope towards the end of November.
The holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so that will be our hope. We have the contractors lined up and everything, we'll see tomorrow, it's the 10 months meeting, so greatly appreciate it, we're really excited to be here. It's called Omanset for Oysterman Scituate is the idea behind the name, so. It's just.
We'll move on that.
I love it. Well, fabulous. Thank you for always looking at
Yeah.
business. You know, let's try it out. I think we have our good friend from WATD. I'd love to hear more about us at some point. Yeah, can't wait.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
have a great evening.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Just
So
so
you
the
have
board,
a restaurant haven down there.
Yeah.
I love it.
Called
Just
the
so-
restaurant mile, the auto mile.
Just so the board's aware, this was the last restaurant all alcohol license available in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So we have no more all alcohol. We have some beer and wine. Just so you know.
Yeah.
But keep in the back of your mind that if we do get to developing more Scituate, we may have to have town meeting request additional liquor licenses.
Yeah.
You guys are.
Do a special act of legislature, you need to do it to a vote of the board or the vote of town meeting. If you do a vote of the board, it's subject to what's called joint rule 12, which means it goes to steering committee and it just stays there. The town meeting votes on it, it goes right to the requisite committee, doesn't get held up as long as it was, so. Obviously, we have time, we're just doing the design of the soil, etc. But the next couple of years, we start seeing things flesh out, we'll probably have to do that to make sure that we have specialists on the situation.
Right, sure.
All right. We are now moving on. This is National Safe Voting Week. Now, I don't know, if you know, we're gonna put our new clerk on the,
Yes.
Jamie, I printed you a copy so you could read it.
I have a proclamation to read on behalf of the town of Scituate Select Board. This 21st day of May, National Safe Voting Week proclamation. Whereas, on average, 700 people die each year in voting-related accidents in the United States. Approximately 70% of these are fatalities caused by drowning. And whereas, The vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment, and not by the boat equipment or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. And whereas today's life jackets are more comfortable, more attractive, more wearable than styles of years past, and deserve a fresh look by today's boating public. Therefore, we, the select board for the town of Scituate, do hereby support the goals of the North American Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 18 through the 24th, 2024 as National Safe Boating Week and the start of the year-round effort to promote safe boating. In witness thereof, we urge all boaters to always wear a life jacket, take boating safety course, and schedule a vessel safety check, and to learn to practice safe boating habits. Signed this very day.
Something tells me that there might be a proclamation. Agreed.
I'm thinking if ATV needs a voiceover, we have a voiceover.
Excellent. Now we have two, Memorial Day, and then we are going to go through policies.
All right, Memorial.
So Memorial Day is just an update of the speakers that were up, the final list speakers and
All right,
Memorial Day program, final event details.
should I go through this, you think, or
No, it's just for your information.
just for
If
our
you'd like to-
information?
If you'd like to.
Well, I left it out in my update, because I thought the board was gonna talk about it, so I think we should just remind people that
Yeah,
parade kicks off at 10:30. Be here at 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock is the laying of the wreaths, harbor master. 10 o'clock, gather here at the town hall for those participating in the parade. Parade kicks off at 10:30, and then the ceremonies on common start at 11:30, and they go for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the school. So, we encourage everybody to come, it's a great event, honor our veterans, all those who serve, and those who have fallen. So, weathers, right now, the rain or shine, we'll be having that event, so, more than this.
The Cub Scouts right now are replacing the flags for some of the cemeteries.
Good.
So, we got progress in preparation for fall.
Can I just wanted to, while we have the opportunity, if you folks haven't been in the ceremony, it really is moving important. It's really great to bring the kids, with us, the remembrances. I just wanted to check, if who's going to, in our board, is going to attend, the water reading. Okay, Susan, you're planning to go?
Yes.
I try to go, so I'm not, but it's very important. And then, what time are we supposed to be here? Did you just say?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, at town hall.
Parade starts at 10:30.
Okay. Thank you.
We do announce it out on the weekend.
Yeah. And I know that it's been posted in socials, it will,
Yeah.
Really, yeah. It is. All right. Review, discuss on some updates on select board policy.
Yeah. So this is Lorraine's last contribution to the town is to help us methodically go through this. The last batch, as we've, prior to the Skillmore Governing Board, we've slogged through the, all of the, policies that are in place. And tonight we are to review, we go to page 111, I believe, of the backup. You'll see the ones that we're to review tonight, which are basically, the final ones, pending ones that we still just need some time with. Lorraine, do you wanna walk through and I can backfill as we go?
Sure. So this will complete the review of the policies, what we do tonight. There'll only be 2 policies left, and that will be Cudworth Veterans Cemetery
that you said that you want to review with the new veterans agent when that person's hired. And then the memorials, which is a much bigger discussion. So those will be, and then there'll be additional policies, like financial policies that Nancy would have in the future. But the first thing we did is I asked Karen to write the introduction to the select board policies and procedures, which she did an excellent job. It's here, the first page, it says select board policy manual overview. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it, you probably have.
Yeah, I just wanna interject on that one. I thought it was really important to kind of put the history of this in here. And when this started in 1972, there was a select board member, then selectman, Mr. Hall, and that's why I quoted him directly, because I thought really just nailed what the whole point was. And then in, subsequent years, there were reiterations. So that's why this document I thought was important. At the front of the book, this is the history of how we got here. And it also discusses how we how we presented the reorganization of the policies themselves.
So if anybody has any changes to this document, we can start with that.
No.
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah, I thought so too. I
Okay.
appreciate the history.
Sad. That was very good. All right,
I'll do all the votes at the end.
So the next item is to review 5 revised policies. The first one was 9-98. You asked me to talk to Jim about it, which I did. And we did a draft rewrite of the policy, which basically is the same as it was. And this is regarding town administrator notice to select board chair of unusual events that occur in town. This is 9-98. And basically, it said the chair of the select board should be notified as soon as possible in all cases involving fire, police, or DPW. When in the opinion of the department head, supervisor, or on duty of the town administrator, the situation or event is significant enough to affect or be of general interest to the community at large. It's basically the same as it was before.
The only thing that changed is it says select board, not select.
Right, and, Jim felt it would still be worthwhile having in here. Obviously Jim does this, but for future town administrators, they would understand their role as well.
all right,
Makes sense.
1 for 1.
Okay, 1 for 1. The next one is 35-98, and this is electronic games. I did. Someone asked it to be defined, it's already defined. And I put a copy of the Mass.gov regulation behind it. And basically, we only have one establishment in town that has electric games. And that's bowling alley. But it's really not a change to the policy except saying select board again instead of selectmen.
Oh, we need it because we have.
Right.
Like, the gaming device is different from the slot machines, we're talking arcade games, not
This is, pinball machines.
just make it, you're just,
Yeah.
right, clarify.
Yes, we are
Pinball
not
machines.
legalizing gambling.
That's right, it's be luminously clear.
Yeah. Any questions on that?
2 for 2.
Okay. The next one, is a policy which we did need to review in detail. This is 53-18, the Hopper Peddler license.
Yes.
Michelle, Jen, and I reviewed this in detail. A lot of the changes were changing from selectmen to select board.
We did talk about this briefly at our last meeting, and
Yeah,
I wanted to report back to the board. One of the questions we had is right now, under the policy, we can award 6 hawker licenses, which are basically food truck, and up to 4 ice cream trucks. And I raised, I believe, the last meeting with, we now have 3 local food trucks approved. It is the number 6 appropriate. So since that meeting, I've met with our economic development and with the Chamber of Commerce to get their input. And there was some great feedback that ranged from, well, we don't have a flood of people coming in for it, and we don't know if it's gonna be a problem, so why limit it? You know, why reduce the number 6? We put 4 in here. Why we reduce 4 if we don't know if it's a problem yet? We can always, you know, if they're 1-year licenses, you can always not do it if there's a problem down the road. 2, that's a good point. We don't like, we're concerned about the lack of parking or the encroachment on parking. There wasn't a overwhelming response to leave it or reduce it, but that was the feedback posted in the case. I really, and now that you've had a little time to think about it, and Jamie, you get a project perspective, do you think that we should tweak the?
I like what you've written so far. You've cleaned up a lot of housekeeping here, that's all. There's one section of hawker peddlers are not permitted to stop, park for the purpose of selling items in any area or upon way in which a reasonably prudent person would, you deleted, determine that by doing so, a public safety hazard may be created. Is that?
I think it was a typo that was corrected.
Is that what that was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was just a typo, so it still.
Oh, I
says-
see that. All right, yep, thank you. All right, good. That's all. But it looks good.
Alright, so we're going from 6, so
I
in
would-
relation to 4.
I would say this. Well, I also think that there could be different types. They're not always.
Right, that was raised.
You know,
Can
I
we
mean-
tell them we want 1 taco, 1 this? But no, we can't do that, but.
Yeah, I don't know, I just think, I'd hate to limit, I'd hate to put it.
I would agree with that too.
We have
I think
3.
it's a good thing.
We have 3 now, we can, as originally written, we can have up to 6.
I wouldn't reduce it from 6.
Yeah.
Maybe we could talk about, why we thought it should go on 4.
Right.
But you obviously have gone soon. We took if you go to the last page, the town of Scituate will allow a total of, we changed it to 4, could be stay 6, that's fine, mobile food service, hawker peddlers in following locations. And we were not talking about ice cream, we were talking about food. Because we can't have them in Cole Park Road, because that's within 500 feet of the existing restaurants and, Quench Juicery and things like that. We can't have it at Humrock Beach parking lot, because that's within 500 feet of the Voyage. And they sell ice cream and all those, and food and things like that to go. So those locations had to be removed from the list of places. So that left Egypt Beach parking lot, Peggy Beach, Lighthouse parking lot, and Minot Beach. So 4 locations where these hawker peddlers could go and sell them. With the exception of Miss Emily, that you granted the pier, even though it is within the 400 feet of Lucky Finn, they worked out an arrangement.
One question did come up, was why isn't the North Scituate parking lot in this case? You know, that we own.
I think everybody considers Minot Beach parking the North Scituate parking lot.
You're talking about the one with a
No, I'm talking about
Maybe
the North
it's
Scituate.
train station with
North
a,
Scituate.
with a WPA?
Yes, right by the WPA and the playground, because it
Because
came
it's
up,
Dribbles is right across the street.
that's ice cream. Oh,
And
they sell
sandwiches.
sandwiches.
They used to.
Yeah, they do.
Is it
And
reason why you
Cersei's
couldn't have two trucks at one location at one time?
Well, what we do now is we have them work it out together.
Right.
So we have the 3 food vendors who are very cooperative. We just give them each other's numbers and they work out their schedule. But to manage 6 is a whole different ballgame. Say you have 6 people that wanna be at Peggy on Saturday.
Oh, reasonably, how many could you allow, like 2? Space wise?
I mean, parking is an issue here,
That certainly.
so just something to think about. I mean, I can leave it at 6, you can change it sometime later if you want, if you think it's a problem.
So in other words, even though we've got a list of streets where we don't allow, does that mean?
The streets is separate, streets is for ice cream trucks.
So I don't get an ice cream truck on Gate Street?
First
Not allowed.
Well, that's crazy.
In the past, complaints, when they first established this, complaints were received from neighborhoods many years ago, and these are the streets that are decided.
I mean, we could do, I mean,
So that's a separate category.
that's a whole separate category. I mean, my gut is, we only have 3.
And they've only been in the last
But
3 years.
Because they're getting more and more popular.
and we also can't predict the future, dribbles could change into something else, they just become an ice cream factory, they only do ice cream. Who knows? Right, we don't know. Anything can change, anything can happen. And you can change these at some other time, so do you wanna split the difference and go to 5?
No,
Stay at 6?
I think we should stay at 6.
Stay at 6?
Okay, we'll leave it 6.
Yeah.
I'm agnostic, and the feedback was exactly what we're saying, it's like, are we looking for a problem that isn't there yet, and do we just let it see how it rolls, and it's not, it is a growing industry, people do like to do food trucks.
And we can always be like, hey, this is a huge hassle.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna spend a lot of time on it, but the hassle is, how do you be fair to the food trucks and their time at the beach?
Right, well, isn't it spelled
And what
out,
about parking? Where are they gonna park when there's not enough room for cars already?
but they're only allowed to be, how long are they allowed to be at a location?
That's ice cream trucks. They're 2 separate things.
Oh, that's right, they can go and stay.
Ice cream trucks are supposed to pull in, sell their ice cream, pull out. The food truck has to be there for 1 or 2 hours for lunch.
But I think you have to, at this point, we should just let these people, if we ever get to having 6 trucks, they've got to show us that they can manage between each other.
That's what we
If they
do
don't,
now
then
with the
we
3.
will.
Yeah.
Alright,
Okay, we'll leave it 6.
and all the other,
Okay, great.
alright, 5412.
5412 is basically staying the same.
Right.
It's about contracts, it's what we do now, there's no changing it.
So 58.
Nancy gives us a list of any contracts over $25,000, and we put them on the upcoming meetings and events page. And you mentioned that you wanted to continue to do that, so we will.
Yeah, we discussed the level of milk, nope, like that number.
And the only thing we're changing on that is again, Board of Selectmen to Select Board. 5817 is the Public Records Compliance Policy. Michelle is the Public Records Access Officer for the town. I had to review this, we just changed Select Men to Select Board, and we updated all of the records access officers for each department, so that it was current and correct. Along with job titles, and that's the only thing that changed. Because this was a relatively new policy that was implemented.
Good. So we're good with those, correct? So just so we don't confuse ourselves later, can I get motions for the introduction and for our. Well, I'll just, I move to approve the introductions of the select board policies and procedures. And further move to approve revised select board policies 9-98, 35-98. 5318, the caveat that we're keeping the driver's license to 6.
Yeah.
And then 5412 and 5817. Second by Ms. Harrison. I moved it. Mr. Goodrich. All those in favor? Aye. It is unanimous. Sorry, I just didn't want at the end, you all like, what do we say again?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then there's 3 policies that we would like to rescind. And that is 2898 appointment of constables. We already have this process in our board and committee appointments. They are required to get a bond. They don't need a certificate from the local attorney, and it doesn't say that in the Mass General Law. So this should just be rescinded in our opinion.
It's a good find.
The next one is 37-98. And, you know, Jim has told everybody what the process is for town council. They check with the town administrator to obtain approval, and if he says yeah, then they can work with town council. We don't think we really need a policy.
Does that refer to select board as well, nice?
I mean, your arrangement with the town administrator, is your arrangement with the town administrator. Doesn't have to be written down.
Yeah, I feel like.
I am, because I do think that it should be written down as a policy that the select board shall consult with the town administrator before. I would just write it down. If this is select board policies,
I think if we're gonna add it, if we're gonna write it down, I think we add it to that procedure document that we have. And as a standalone, remember that big long one that says what our
yeah,
procedures are?
I just want it written
And I don't
down
think we
somewhere.
have anything in the procedures about access to town council.
Well, we could keep this, because this covers more than just the select board.
Does
Other board
Yeah,
and
that's
committee. So we can just change it, you can leave it the same.
Yeah.
And we can change it from board of selectmen to select board,
That's
if everybody wants
Do you
that,
have
that's fine.
anything in the employee personnel and the personnel handbook about that?
About
Council,
council.
if, you know, Nancy decides she wants to.
No, the employee handbook does that, but all the boxes are request to speak with the council, that's come from violence.
You just tell them that verbally.
Yes.
Alright, and I think that applies to select board as well. I mean, if we decided all of a sudden, the five of us say we're calling town council, we don't care what he says. It should be written down that,
It's written that way here.
right, well, and we're talking about rescinding it or delete.
So do you wanna keep this policy then and just revise it to say select board rather than board of selectmen,
I would.
like the previous
Sure,
ones?
yeah, because there's, again,
It's not a problem.
here's the exception,
There is
so we
an
had,
exception.
or you wanted to fire the town administrator.
Not that we do,
No, I'm just saying
but
that
that
you
would
go-
be something we wouldn't consult our town administrator, that we could consult the attorney if we had a problem with town administrator. I'm just thinking.
Or HR.
Then I would see it on the bill.
Yeah.
Spoke to chair about firing town administrator.
No,
Right,
but I mean,
I mean, this comes back to, yeah, that's the policy,
Well,
if you're at that stage.
Well, number two is you could go to town council and board.
For the majority vote,
For the majority vote.
we're elected boards, so
Yeah.
I'm three.
yeah.
Elected boards,
Right.
I just
Appointed
don't
board,
want,
keep it for now.
I just don't want a renegade member of the board decide.
that's
Just
not
not
covered,
covered.
we would have to, I think we would have to add that as number 4, the select board. Because we have the authority to approve, if the planning board wants to have to go to council, they can come to us and ask. Now, under this, if the beautification wants council, they can come to us.
But those boards were now going to Jim. If the planning board needs town council. they-
Right, so I
Yeah.
would say we delete.
Change to town administrator, take the select board out of that one.
Yeah, change to select board to town administrator, and number 2
It's-
administrator.
The chair of the planning board won't come in and say, we need to get all the town council. Karen would come and say, you need to get all the town council, so.
Right.
You know, I would deal with the
Is that
appointed
way
staff. Yeah, I would deal with the appointed staff, usually just an email, hey, I need to talk to town council about such and such.
But an appointed board like capital planning, they should go to you if they want
Yeah.
to see town council.
But Karen raises a good point about our authority to address town council directly.
But that's because we're an elected board.
No, but the way it's written now is elected board and, and then change it
Well,
to.
so is
Yeah, but we don't
planning
need,
board elected?
You hire a town council, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need Jim's permission.
The reason we put that in
It
is
doesn't
not,
say that there, it's not saying that.
is so that I can look at it and say, you don't need to talk to town council. I can answer that, Bob can answer that, someone else can answer that, you don't need to.
Well, you want us to have some control over the amount of money that's being
Right.
spent.
Right, that's why we do it, we don't want
Right,
to
it's just like.
hey, stay Tuesday, and call town council.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah, so they have to come to me, because a lot of times we can answer this question, right, without having an answer. That's what the reason is to have it. Town administrator, but the board, actually, you hire council, so. You know, I could see an instance where the chair of the board would want to talk to town council. Maybe I'm on vacation, maybe, I don't know, you said maybe you want to fire me, you know, like, figure out a way to give you a
Right,
cheese
so
raise or a bonus.
So there's two issues on that. One is our accessibility, our use of town council is a right of the board to retain.
That's item 3, it's in there.
It's not, that's not what it says.
That's what the other boards.
Because we can't, if the majority of our board says and the chair says, well, I
So
suppose
by nature, we're an elected board.
actually, you're right. So, yeah, so if we all say we need a
By
council,
majority vote.
we say, okay, 3 out of 5 of us say we should.
I think that's healthy.
I think everything's covered here.
Yeah, let's keep it for now, we can always go back. So
Alright.
keep it for now.
Elect board.
Alright, 6218.
Okay, so 37-98, we're going to add into the approved to revise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're just changing board of selectmen to select board.
Yep.
Okay. And then the other policy we're recommending that you rescind is 62-18, which is the remote participation policy. And the reason that we are recommending that it be rescinded is because currently, under mass.gov, we are still under the act extending the temporary provisions pertaining to the open meeting law to March 31st, 2025. And something's gonna happen next year. And you're gonna have to create, maybe not, depending on what the state does, a policy or not create a policy.
Yeah.
You're either gonna go by what the state says, or you're gonna create another policy. But this particular policy is obsolete. So that's why we're recommending that you rescind 62-18. And have that up here to show why. So do you want to make a motion to rescind 28-98 and 62-18? And then a motion to approve the revised 37-98.
Yes.
As motion as stated.
Okay,
Motion by Ms. Canfield, seconded by Ms. Harrison. All those in favor?
Aye.
and then lastly, we wrote up, based on our conversation at the last meeting, a policy regarding departmental policies. And that is in your package.
Yeah, this is everything we went through last,
Yeah.
not last week, last meeting.
It just says, all new and changes to existing departmental policy requiring vote and approval by the select board. Once approved by the select board, the departmental policies will be maintained and posted on the website by each department. It is the responsibility of the department head to ensure policies are up to date, documented, and published to all, so all residents and businesses can access the information.
Love it. Motion? Questions before, I'm sorry?
Move to approve select board departmental policies and refer to 32-01, 33-98, 42-99, 44-00, 45-00, 48-07,
48-15, 4907, 50-08, 50-15, 64-19, and 65-19 to the appropriate department to maintain and update ongoing with the approval of the select board.
Moved by Ms. Conley. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gilmore. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous.
So I'll write that up and put a note from Jim and the board to the department heads with their policies. Is that okay?
Let me look at it.
Yeah.
Lorraine, on the reorg categories and getting everything shined up to put on the website.
Yeah.
Where are you at? So we can't-
Well, I'm rewriting everything now. I'm hoping to finish it this weekend. And then I'll probably send it out to everyone just to review it. With all these changes.
Well, I'm just.
In addition to that,
Yeah.
yeah, the categories we figured out already. But you and I will. Oh, okay, when I finish it, I'll send it to you. And I know you want it sent to the DEI.
Yes.
But it needs to be put together. We'll do it, if they want any changes, they can come to the.
Yeah, so there was a request by DEI both for this and for, what was for this. And they heard we were doing this and they said, oh, maybe we should look at it from their lens. So if they come back and do a tweak, then we'll visit some things, but.
Yeah.
Given the new numbering system, it won't be wacky to
There was not
revise.
gonna be a million policies,
Yes.
you know, it's gonna be concise and succinct and.
I wanna thank Lorraine and Michelle and everybody that, really did the homework and all of this, it was really, yeoman's work. And as you saw in the policy just approved, that this should be at least reviewed and re-ratified in this other biggest way. Okay.
All right. Discuss and vote on the 2025 select board meeting schedule.
So I did print a copy. We reviewed all the school calendar, so you're not meeting during school vacation weeks. Also Jewish holidays and, this also aligns, Nancy's already put together the fiscal year 2026 budget reviews. And she's already got the schedule out there, so I figured, let me get this done before I leave. I mean, certainly we can always change a date if you need to, later, add dates.
Yeah, well, this looks good for me. I'm gonna plant the seed now for folks, just knowing how some of those budget meetings go late, we may wanna consider adding one or two very small, short meetings. Either via Zoom or what have you, some budget items to make sure that we're not here till 11 at night. We have to meet 3 times in a month, as opposed to 2. But we do that. So,
Well,
via Zoom,
I know you already have 3 meetings in April, so I figured if you wanted to do that, you can always add them later.
yeah, because there's no, I'm planning a food for thought, folks. All right,
February's tough because you have school vacation week, and it's a short month. But maybe you wanna add a meeting in the middle of March. So I just need a motion. To approve the 2025 select board meeting schedule.
Move to approve the 2025 select board meeting schedule as presented. Second?
moved by Ms. Harrison, seconded by Ms. Canfield, all those in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous.
And the other thing is to just run down the select board liaison positions.
Right,
Obviously, the ones that are more current are going to need Some of them you're gonna be taking over Andrew as chair. For example, usually you would be the one for the advisory committee.
Yeah. So I'll take that.
And usually, well, you would also be the one for the Plymouth County Advisory Board.
Yep. All right, take that.
And then you can look at the rest.
All right. Affordable Housing Trusts. Anybody wanna,
What is that?
Jamie, you
yours,
just,
Jamie.
Jamie, it's all yours.
member and liaison?
Because Mara is also a member, she's gonna continue to be a member.
Oh, gotcha,
We just need a liaison.
Right.
So,
Jamie,
Affordable
you wanna
Housing
learn, would you like to
Trust,
learn more about
Okay,
you're an elected board.
okay. Yeah,
what do they need help?
they have a new director,
it? Yeah, they help with all
yeah.
the housing.
It's,
Is
they
that
don't,
the fund, the $25,000 fund that we have to?
No, it's, how would I describe
They purchase some properties in
Yeah.
town.
Okay.
And then sell them at for affordable rates.
and they get funding from CBC.
I see, all right, yeah,
And-
I.
And they were,
Yes, yeah.
they were, very much involved in the Lawson Green project,
Correct.
so.
Yeah, Nancy, they did it with the windows, right? Weren't they involved in getting some of the windows and stuff?
No, that was Situate Housing Authority.
That was Situate Housing. So affordable housing, all right.
They were very instrumental in the, last.
Just
You
say
just-
that.
Yeah, sorry,
How's
Yeah.
it different from the housing
They help.
authority?
housing authorities is quasi-state federal agency, that oversees the housing. Town falls under the jurisdiction.
Lincoln Park
They don't develop affordable housing, they manage basically senior housing.
sort of managed,
Lincoln
And
Park,
that's the new director,
real
right?
right.
the director.
Okay.
It is.
Well, all
All
right,
right, animal control, go down.
So the next one that Mara had was Coastal Advisory Commission with Karen Conlon.
well, yeah,
Well, I think we should go down to the lowest.
Okay.
So we
Well,
might-
maybe people want to change too.
Yeah, so I honestly didn't realize I looked at the animal control board, I didn't know we needed a liaison, Jim.
I would like someone to take my spot.
that doesn't, yeah, that doesn't mean much. You okay,
So
say,
when it does, it's, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I honestly, yeah.
Great, beach commission,
I'm fine.
beautification, Jamie, if you want that, if anyone wants to jump on that, tell me, or I'll
I'll
keep
take it
it.
if you want this.
You gotta be a couple.
You do good work.
Bicycle you're happy with?
Yep.
Board of Health,
I'm fine. Andrew's easy.
bylaw review, it's all yours. Yeah. Cable television, you're okay, capital planning, I'm happy to stay on that. Actually, we're gonna stop right there, Jamie, is there anything that you're new, anything that jumps out at you that we were interested in? Did you have done this before? I love putting you on the spot too, by the way.
There was one here, the diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, that
Or
Oh, that's,
It's all yours.
All yours.
that gives me 3.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure you had something that you wanted to make sure that.
I would suggest if you're doing affordable housing, more was on housing authority too, because they do,
All right,
they're,
I'll do that too. Housing authority, where is that one? The name share.
All right.
I don't think it's a committee that we have a liaison to.
what, it says it
Where is that?
under.
Oh, I see, housing authority, yeah. Okay, thank you for pointing that out to me.
Coastal advisory was Mara and Aaron, so do you want to stay on that? Or do you want
I'll stay, I mean, yeah, I will,
works with co-pilot as well.
it does, yeah.
to?
Okay, so the co-pilot, you can see that one through?
Oh, yeah, I'll stick with the cold hard way.
We still have.
Commission on Disabilities, I'm not giving that one up, well done. I do, they're the best. Community preservation, Karen, still,
I
You're-
really like that committee, but if somebody else is interested, it's fine with me, but
I know you're so good
I've
there.
got a long history with them, so.
Conservation, you're good.
I like that one.
Council on Aging,
I'd like to stay,
wherever just DEI, we got Jamie on, economic development,
I'd like to stay.
financial forecasts.
I wanna do that one. With you.
You do wanna do that?
Yeah.
All right. This
I went through one of them.
historic,
Do you have any interest in the historic? I mean, it works with the Board of Ed, I like to keep.
I would be, I could take that, I like those people, sure.
I like them too.
That's how we make our decisions.
Well, no, I mean, I like what they do,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
and I like the people too.
Yes, well, that's.
oh yeah, everyone has different interests,
Yes.
right? I
Anybody
mean,
wanna fight me for the library?
I'm not fighting.
because you end up in, what's the average, about seven, or eight?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone's on about, you know. Library, that's you, master plan. Rates, want me to take that? You're a lot,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
What did you just say?
Master plan, Goodrich. Mordecai Lincoln,
Not giving that.
And we've been to the battlefield.
all right,
Karen, are you staying on that with her?
Yeah, oh, I wouldn't leave her alone.
planning,
I'm happy.
yeah,
Yes.
Plymouth County, that's me, public building. I can never do that one,
Are they meeting?
they need at a weird time.
They don't have any projects ready.
I don't have any projects right now, but I think tomorrow night we might actually have a I'd like to bring that up in conversation about a potential role for them in the water treatment plant, given the current challenges. So maybe Andrew, you wanna?
Sure,
So are we putting Andrew and Karen on there?
no, just me, just me.
Okay.
I can draft stuff if you
When
want.
is it? You said they meet during the day.
No, they,
It used to be the opposite of our meeting, it used to be Tuesdays at like 6:30.
Do you wanna come?
Convenience.
Andrew, do you wanna code that one, just?
Sure,
Okay, so we'll code PPC. Okay. They might have nothing, let's see. Creation. Are you gonna-
I mean, I can. Jane, that's a fun one, you should do that one. I love, yeah, that's a good one.
Okay,
Yeah, just because I'm gonna have to jump on all those other ones tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta feel some, this one's a big one,
School building.
only because Maura was the liaison for so long. Susan, I would suggest you were not eligible for that one.
That's fine, man. I don't wanna be all.
First, school building committee, I mean,
Oh, school building,
yeah,
is that
There's
even,
two of them, school building
oh, the
committee
new,
and school
School
committee.
committee and school building committee is different.
oh, yeah, sorry, I. So that'll be for the new project now? Oh, wait,
alright, so I'll take that in the school committee, which I had before. Scituate Chamber,
well, oh, here. I have it just here there.
Sharp,
That's me, I'll stick with the peer review.
still love that acronym. Shellfish, Susan. Sister Cities, that's you.
That one's a hard one.
Sister
Ton
Sue,
of meetings. Not bad, Brad. If anyone wants to do it with me or do it.
I'll do it with you, yes,
Okay,
well,
how
with
about
you,
that?
Yes,
because
well,
I did the
Irish.
court thing,
Yeah, cause it's like
Oh,
three
yeah, that'll be
different
good.
committees in one.
yeah. So
I
let's
can
work
never
together.
make the
Right.
meeting.
Honestly, we wanted to split the night between the French because of, that, I can take the French because I have those relationships with the recent.
We.
Okay,
Alright, so we can.
So should I put the three of you on?
sure, cause
Yeah.
it's technically three committees, that's the thing.
I know.
Right, and then we'll know you're gonna do Cape Verde, I'll do French, France, and then Westport.
Okay, perfect.
I think that works great.
alright, and South Shore, street acceptance, traffic, veterans.
Wait, what about coalition? Are you taking session for coalition? As chair?
Yeah, I think I.
There-
so-
Are you
most-
taking veterans too? You want me to take veterans? That's like, what, that's a ton. How many do you have? That's
That's one is have to, supposed to.
Well, what is street acceptance is
Yeah, that one's.
I take veterans.
That's the chair, that has to be the chair.
The veterans?
No, street acceptance.
Yeah, you have to do that one. I can do that. If you want for this year.
Want to split?
Oh, if you want it,
No,
it's
I
all
don't
yours.
care, I was just offering, since I just unloaded some
All right, Karen Canfield's on veterans.
veterans.
This is next one I was thinking of.
So what about traffic rules and regulations, who's gonna do
Oh,
that?
I'll take that.
And you're doing South Shore Coalition too, right?
They're pretty defunct right now.
Water Resources Commission?
I mean, I've done it for a long time, but if someone wants to, I'm gonna talk to them anyway, though.
Yeah. They're really good.
I'm happy to say, if someone wants to get involved and know more about them or whatever, I'm happy to share it or whatever.
Been there.
No one's jumping. All right, waterways and zoning.
I find,
Perfect.
Okay, great, we'll take that up.
Liaison reports. Nothing, that's one.
The EDC is going to be doing a survey of businesses in June. I think, Jim, have you received the draft yet?
I'm not.
So Jim's got to review it and approve it. They are seeking to hear directly from businesses what their needs and concerns are, so that the EDC is better prepared to address them.
Is it survey monthly?
I think so. Yeah. And there's a new children's librarian starting in June. So that's a new hire.
So Jamie, as you know, typically you would do the correspondence, but we don't have any. We don't have any correspondence.
Pleased to report to the board that there is no correspondence for me this evening.
Actually, there's just one thing that was in correspondence, and it was the date for the National White House Day that Jim already mentioned.
August 7th. Pleased to announce August 7th.
Yeah, there you
Have a
go.
like.
all right,
Approval of meeting minutes.
approve the May 7th, 2024 meeting minutes.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Harrison, seconded by Ms. Connolly, sorry. Oh, gee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Lorraine?
Yes,
You agree.
motion to adjourn. 8:08 PM, very good.
I
We'll
just
miss
don't,
you.
no, we feel sad. Motion. Second by Ms. Connolly, and with our sincere thanks.
If you don't adjourn, you can't leave, right?
That's true.
We
There we go.
can't leave either.
All those in favor, seconded by Ms. Connolly, say aye.
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 I'll miss